Gavel again, Rich?
We are now recording. I would have completely forgot.
The amateur astronomers November meeting will now come to order.
Okay, just wanted to make sure because we got a lot of people depending on us to record the meeting. Now, I'm the Vice President, Jeff Goldstein. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Okay, this is the November challenge here for the month. And today's the club meeting. We know that. Corn Watch Friday, Sky Watch this Saturday at 5 p.m. Northwest River Park. I'm going to try to go to that, but I've got a conflict, so I may not attend myself. I'm going to try myself. But please do. There's lots of telescopes, and come to that. It's a public event, and there's usually about 8 or 10 telescopes out there. It's great. If you haven't been, please do come. Corn Watch the following Friday on the 10th. Night Watch is the 11th through the 12th. It's overnight, club members only. Outer Banks Fall Star Party at 4:30. I think that's at the Dowdy Park, I believe. Okay, right, at Dowdy Park, Nags Head, North Carolina.
17.
Please sign up. And if you don't know how to use Night Sky Network, let us know and we'll try to help you log in, okay? Does anybody not know, by the way? Does anybody out there not know? You got, you don't know? Okay, we'll see if we can get you guys into Night Sky Network. Sean usually gets everybody's password and stuff, so we can put him to work doing that. Can you get some guys in Night Sky Network tonight, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do it a little later, not now. Okay. That was the Outer Banks Fall Star Party. Saturday, Sunday is at Elizabeth River Park. On Saturday, we look at the sun. It's starting at 10 a.m. and a pretty good crowd turns out, and it's really fun to see the sun with solar filters safely. Exploring the Planets Night is the 21st. So let me click on that real fast. And that's at Churchland Primary. I think I'm signed up for that one. And if you want to sign up for these, you can click RSVP and see if you're signed up. See, I'm signed up, and Roland Downing is said no. So we need a few volunteers for the Explore the Planets night, okay? All right. That's on the 21st. The next event is Saturday, Sunday again in December. So let me flip it to December. Saturday, Sunday on Saturday. Muse and the Gents something is Market Shops Holiday Party. And I don't know how many people are signed up for that, but let me check and see how many we got so far. We got 1 yes and 2 no.
I just haven't signed up yet.
Okay, and George says he's going to sign up too. So basically, you get the message, and if you don't sign up right away, you can still join Night Sky Network. You click on the event for that day on the calendar. Now I got to go back to December and sign up for these events. Astronomy night at Gates County. I'm the only one that signed up for that. It's a good drive, and I got a friend that's way out there in Gates County. It's about a 60-mile drive one way, but I don't mind. They want a little star show and dog and pony show for that. Now I told them I'd do it. On December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, the club meeting, 7:30, just like today. Corn Watch the 8th, Sky Watch Northwest River Park the 9th. And let's see what else we got. Corn Watch again. BBAA luncheon at Stripers at Waterside, very good. Please do RSVP on that. We usually have 2 RSVP lists, don't we? For the Stripers for the luncheons. Okay, so please sign up for the Stripers luncheon at Waterside. That's our only event for the Christmas, kind of a Christmas luncheon. Very good food and good company. Night Watch that following evening. Nothing else going on until the 1st of January. Any questions on our short list of events? Okay. I'll take the silence as a no. I'll turn it back over to El Presidente.
Okay, our next event and next report is the secretary's report. Would you
I
like to
make a
read the
motion that
minutes?
we dispense with the reading of the minutes.
We've got a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes. We have a second. Second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay.
Jay.
The ayes have it. The minutes will be posted online. Okay, the treasurer's report. Mr. Treasurer,
Can I make a motion to dispense with the treasurer report too?
can't hear you. How do you boost the sound?
Nice. It's true because audio went down, so we can. You usually blast us out of here.
Can you hear me?
That's better, but
We can-
just a minute. Let me get the
barely
audio.
hear you.
Let me get the audio up a little bit. Okay, give me a 5 count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's much better.
Very good.
That's better.
We got you now.
Okay, treasurer's report.
Good, you can hear me because I'm very interesting. Everyone wants to hear what I say.
And modest.
Let's see. We got almost $7,800 in the accounts, which is about normal for this time of year. We paid all our major expenses for the years. That is a $240 increase from last treasury report. We had quite a bit of money coming through. We've had 2 major expenses. We paid the check cleared for Chipokes for East Coast Star Party. So that was the last East Coast Star Party related expense. It was like $200 for them. And then we bought some t-shirts. But other than that, we brought in a lot of money for shirts. We sold a lot of eclipse glasses. So I actually had a lot of transactions in the ledger, which is annoying, but most of them were like for a couple bucks because people are both buying eclipse glasses. And then we membership was strong. We had 8 new members for the month, and so we are now over 201 members. I think it's the first time we've ever been over 200. I mean, when I joined the club 6-7 years ago, we were like, oh yeah, we got over 100. So now we have 200. I think that's it. Unless anyone has any questions. Was the excitement for this month? The fun begins next month with renewals. So starting next month, I'll start sending blast emails out saying, renew your dues, renew your dues. The emails will go to everyone, so don't freak out if you're paid up for advanced or some people buy multiple years. If you're not sure, let me know, or you can ask a question. I can say, no, you good, or show me the money. But
Rich, I got a question. Are we in the red or in the black for East Coast Star Party?
we ended up in the black. Yeah, we ended up clearing like almost $500. So it for a moment there, we thought we were pretty much going to break even, which was kind of the goal. But then we got some late registrations. Some people didn't show up, and we had some expenses come in a little less than we thought they were. So we ended up doing pretty good. So yeah, we're looking at that. So the model, at the next event, now we have a better idea what some of those costs are, whether we just do more things or spend on more things, or whether we reduce the cost of registration by a couple bucks. We're looking at all those things. So when it comes around again, we'll look at that, because like I said, I don't think the goal is not really for us to for the club to make money on it, but we also don't want to lose money either. So.
Okay, we've got 200 members. Most of those are joiners. We would like to have more participants. So if some of those 200 new members or old members would get their tail in gear and join us and participate in some of the events, we love it, because there's only there's usually about a dozen people come to Skywatch, and the rest of the month there's about half a dozen of us that do most of the events. So 200 people, we need to get a few more people involved. Do we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report? You have a motion?
Yes.
You have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Treasurer's report has been approved. Okay, we have a report from our Alcor, our Astronomical League Coordinator, Bruce Powers, Robert Bruce Powers.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So if you recall, my report last month was my attempt to try to get the Globular Cluster Astronomical League Award with 50 observations of globular clusters. I am sorry to report that I've submitted my my drawings to the coordinator, and several of my descriptions were considered inadequate. So I'm going to have to redo some of those. And so I've decided that since remote telescopes are allowed for these magnitude 10 globulars that I have to find, that I'm going to go do it remotely and submit my descriptions in the form of a haiku poem. So, right.
Very good, Bruce.
So other than that, I will try to come up with something more inspiring in December. It's been a long week for me. So
Okay,
I think what you need to do is just like use this as an excuse to get a bigger telescope.
that could be. That could be.
well, what you could do, since most of the globulars are summer objects and we're getting away from the summer, you do stellarium.
Yes.
Yeah.
That, no, I might try a couple on SLU. I've never done SLU, but I hear it works well. I'm not going to do the RRT because I don't think it's reliable enough right now.
Okay, so that's our Alcor. I don't see
Ben.
our scholarship chairman online, so I guess this time of the year there's nothing
Going on with scholarship, yeah.
No, because it's not anywhere near the end of the year. But after the first of the year, for the spring, he'll be sending out letters to all the schools and advertising our scholarship.
Well, I was going to mention, we do have something coming up though, because isn't about the time of year when we get the George June Scholarship Prize?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We probably should decide on that. Well, we want to do this meeting so we can, because usually we bring it to the anniversary luncheon, right?
Yeah.
How much was in there, Rich?
We currently in Georgie June, we're almost funded for the next year. I think it's like $900. Yeah, we have $900 sitting in Georgie June right now.
Do you remember how much we spent last year? Was it like
Last year we buy one of those
Stars?
Astron, the ones with the phone where they
Yeah.
call it Star Sense.
Yeah.
I think it was around $300, three or $400, somewhere in there.
Is that what we wanted to do again? Another telescope?
Well, now that we're into old business. What do we want to do as far as the Georgia June Scholarship raffle? Anybody, any suggestions?
I suggest a big telescope for SkySense, maybe 8-inch or bigger.
They don't. I think the biggest one is it's like a 5-inch refractor or something. They're all small. The ones that come with Star Sense.
Yeah, they make two, an 8 and 10-inch with it.
They got
They
10.
Oh, they
make,
do? Okay.
Reflectors.
Yeah, the Dobbs.
Dobbs. At least an 8.
I didn't mean to jump ahead. I thought we were talking about scholarships, so. If you all wait till the old business when we finish the rest.
Well, we are in old business now.
This is
Okay.
scholarship.
So we finished all the reports, and now we're into old business. So
Let me share. I'm logging on this.
I move we get a 8-inch SkySense telescope for the raffle.
Star Sense. Do you know how much that would cost?
I'm
I'm
looking up.
looking it up.
No, I think it's gonna be about 800.
So,
Nonprofit organization is supposed to be
Well, we've got money in the general fund. We wouldn't
Yeah.
have to use the scholarship. We wouldn't use the
That's right.
scholarship fund for it to buy it. Okay.
That way we'll get a lot more money,
Well, that
more
means
tickets
you
sold if you
You
have a
have to
big,
hit the streets
a big scope.
selling those raffle tickets.
Yeah.
It is $800,
$800.
$7.99.95.
Okay. All right.
It's not Celestial. It is still Celestron, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones with star, that come with the star sense, trying to find.
Yes.
Okay, so it's been suggested or motion on the floor to purchase an 8-inch Star Sense Celestron telescope.
Do we really, I mean, $800, are we gonna recoup that?
6 of you, okay?
Okay.
I don't know if they.
I think this is the one that we bought last year, the 130. The Newtonian reflector.
Yeah, there's a Schmidt Cassegrain 5-inch. Let me see how much that one is.
500.
500.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, they've expanded these quite a bit since last time I looked.
Yeah, now they got a 12.
Okay, so when will that prize be awarded? Last year, my memory is
It's
short.
in the spring, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
April?
we award the scholarship in the spring. I can't remember when we do the raffle. I think it's the beginning of the year.
I thought the tickets last time was like for April, and then when it was.
Yeah, it was
Kid got
April.
the scholarship.
It was
like in May
April.
or something.
Okay. All right.
Let me see when we collect. So it's
And you need to raise the price.
So what? Yeah, if we get something, how much was that 6-inch?
If it was $500, you'd have to, and $5 a ticket like we normally do, that's 100 tickets.
100 tickets.
So,
Well, that's the break even, but we don't want to do that, do we?
yeah, we want to make money to fund the scholarship.
Right, right.
But 100 tickets,
100
ain't very
tickets,
much.
piece of
Did we
cake.
sell over 100 tickets last
Yeah,
time?
we sold about 200, I think.
I don't know. I don't have a record.
You guys want to try it for a $500 prize? That's
Yeah, I'll
reasonable.
amend my motion for a 5-inch Schmidt Cassegrain, $499.95, 98.
See, was that Schmidt Cassegrain on an EQ mount? No.
No.
Altaz? Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good, okay. All right, the motion has been made to buy a 5-inch Schmidt Cassegrain for the raffle. Any second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're gonna buy 5-inch SCT for raffle and sell them as $5 a ticket. $5 a ticket.
If we could sell 200 tickets, that's good.
Yeah, and that will fully fund the scholarship.
That's
Okay,
good, tell us.
yeah, it's nice. That was good.
time for new bit, any other
Who's
old?
gonna buy it?
You want me to get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, just go get it, John.
He's the techie guy.
It's actually do it quick because it's $500 because it's on sale right now.
I will get it when I get home.
It's normally 600.
Okay, good.
I will lock it down tonight.
All right.
Lock it down, son.
Yeah. I try to fix this for a whole month nowadays. All right, any other old business? Okay, new business. I've got a couple things.
I have one thing to add, because Bruce said the triple RT wasn't reliable, and I looked and it is back together and it's taking a picture right now.
Oh, okay.
So it says it's an exposing image on the website there, so it's a.
Somebody's using the remote rapid response robotic telescope, the RRRT, the RRT. Okay, new business. I got a couple things. Don't forget, Eastern Daylight Time ends Saturday night. Set your clocks back, fall back. to Eastern Standard Time. It means it'll sunset will be an hour earlier, so we get dark earlier, we get out under the stars earlier. As Jeff mentioned, the anniversary luncheon, it's not a Christmas luncheon, it's the anniversary luncheon. It celebrates the anniversary of the founding of the Back Bay Amateur Astronomers on December 14th, 1978. So this will be, what is that? 45 years. 45 years. So anniversary luncheon is from noon to whenever, 2, 3 o'clock, whenever we clear out at Striper's Waterside, a wonderful restaurant, wonderful view of the harbor. And so make sure you put that on your calendar now. Paul Sood, one of our members who's also in the Navy, is a amateur, and he'll be doing the presentation next month here and explaining some of the things he does for astrophotography. Also, I mentioned daylight saving time ends. Saturday is also Sky Watch, as you mentioned, so come out to Northwest River Park. I haven't checked the weather forecast, but if it's like today, it'll be great. Sky Watch this Saturday.
It's supposed to be good. Good.
And we need to be thinking, starting now, to think about the East Coast Star Party. We want to have another one in the spring. I talked to Bruce about that, and we need to coordinate, first of all, with Chipokes on dates. But I would like to know who is interested in being on the ECSP committee. Right now, for the last year, it was me, Sean, Kent Blackwell, Bruce,
And
Rich. I think that was it. Were you on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else would like to be in on the planning for the East Coast Star Party?
It doesn't take a lot of your time.
No, it does. No. And forgot your name.
Jeremy.
Jeremy Mitchell. Okay. Right. And I'll get with Bruce and we'll come up with a time to get together and just discuss and plan ahead for what we're going to be doing. Is there any other new business?
I have a question about what you're just talking about.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Ann? Has anyone talked to Ann? Because I emailed her, she's not emailed me back. That email I sent you guys too?
Right, yeah. I talked to Bruce, I haven't talked to Ann, no.
Okay.
Yeah, so the main thing, I saw that you hit Amazon up, Sean. Yeah, we do need to get availability from Amazon as the entering assumption for anything we do next. So we'll have to figure out a way to extract that, maybe a fruit basket.
Need to go to First Landing. She works out of First Landing.
Yeah,
Kind of hit and miss. I mean, I drove over there one time and I just missed her like by 5 minutes.
okay.
Okay. ECSP contact, hands-on.
And I think that's one of those things that's probably best face to face.
Yeah.
So
I'll
you
try.
get a feel for, were they happy?
Oh,
We
yeah.
really don't even know, like, I didn't get any feedback for how the park liked or didn't like the East Coast Star.
I didn't
Park.
get any feedback from Ann herself, but I got feedback from the other rangers.
Mhm.
They thought it was great. They thought it was good. So I'll try to get in contact with Ann-Zon, and if maybe 2 or 3 of us converge on her, one of us will catch up with.
Yeah, in the meantime, it'd be easy enough to figure out some dates. I know that like Staunton
I've got
River, when you
dates
put it out there-
already. I got my calendar showing with the new moon, the weekends closest to the new moon in next few months in the spring and in the fall. So we can discuss that as far as tentative dates.
Yeah, it'd be, and Staunton River's already put out their 24 dates, so we can plan around them.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to conflict with the Stanton River Star Party.
Mountain River is March 4 through 10.
Oh, then no problem. 'Cause that's,
I was thinking May, because
I was thinking May too.
yeah, April, we all know what we're doing then.
Yes, April is out for the eclipse, but I was thinking May, so we're thinking May for the spring and maybe September, October for the fall.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any other new business? Sure.
I got a ID card that I got several years ago. I'm gonna pass this around so you can see it. And it's not a picture ID, but it's a real postal ID. Comes in handy if the police come up to you and say, "What are y'all doing here?" And so maybe I should get up here so that they can see it. I'm gonna pass this around. I just want to show you what it looks like. I think Chuck Yago. Oh, I could have done it over there. Chuck Yago, there's my you can see it here out in the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
Chuck Yago made these up, and it says your name, full member, whatever, joined. I joined January 2008, so it doesn't have to be updated every year. I'll just pass this around, and I would really like to see everybody have an ID card for a lot of reasons, because, you know, if you join a club and you pay money, why not have an ID card so you can show it to your friends and maybe get more people, you know? But it came in handy when police came up and said, two times, police came up and said, "What are y'all doing here?" And I said, "Well, we're here for this star party," and they didn't know we were supposed to be there, but we were. So it came in real handy for that. Yes.
Do you want to make them?
I'll make sure that I'll find out.
Chuck gave me the laminated.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah. Well, the club bought it.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought we had it.
Because we're making all those IDs. It's been sitting in my garage.
Okay.
I will bring it to you.
Well, we've got somebody. So I'd like to make a motion that we have ID cards for everybody, and everybody becomes a full member and all that. I don't know about the associate members, but you guys can talk about
You
that.
have a second to the motion? Okay.
Second.
Seconded, any discussion?
Just a one idea I'd like to throw in. When we make these cards up, it might be a good idea, if at all possible, to print on both sides of the card, because sometimes you can walk around. I'm trying to figure out who that guy is or who that person is, and the card is flipped around. So if you print on both sides of the card, then it's always going to be visible.
That's good. Good
You're
idea.
wearing it around your neck.
Is it gonna be hard to print on both sides?
Well, just make two cards and laminate them.
Okay, yes, sir.
It would be a good opportunity to utilize some lanyards, like let's get some lanyards out for that, just so, you know, go extra mile for that. Not sure I already have them.
We don't have it here, so we do have these little clips. That's what we've done in the past.
Oh, good.
I mean, this is that's in the lanyard
And
too.
I think we can mail those, I think, without just a regular envelope.
Yeah, and I've got a bunch of these clips at home, and we can get more. They're cheap at the Office Depot, Office Max.
Lanyards would give you something to put your astronomical league pins on.
That's true.
So
Or I'll be like Bruce
you could all be like Bruce.
with our flair.
Well, it's something to consider.
Another thought on the reverse side of this might be, since you're talking about interacting with police, putting the permit numbers for the various sites and locations.
That'll change though.
Oh, does
That'll
that change
from
from
year to
year?
year. It's hard to keep that up. You don't want to print over and over.
Yeah.
Because he's had his for years. I've had one for years, even though he's got the wrong date on it. We don't.
Well, since, it just says since.
Yeah, he said joined 2002. I joined.
Oh, joined, yeah.
I joined a couple years before that.
Before that.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded. We make ID cards. Do we have any more discussion? Thanks for the discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, motion passed. Then your report, Jeff
Okay.
and Sean.
You'll be a Skywatch, sorry.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the election of officers. I've got a copy of the club officers handbook here with the Constitution and bylaws in it. The way it works, we elect two officers each year. We stagger the terms. So last year we elected president and secretary. This year we're electing treasurer and vice president. So Rich is the treasurer, Jeff is the vice president. Both have said they are willing to spend another term in that office. Do we have any other nominations? Crickets. No other nominations? So looks like Rich and Jeff have been elected for another term
By
by
acclamation.
acclamation.
Do I give my speech now?
Okay, are there any observing reports? Anybody see anything good
Yes.
outside lately? That's clouds. Yes, sir, Bill.
Saw plenty of movement. I went out last night, I've been doing some research on what makes diving work better. It's three-dimensional setup and three factors. One is the periodic and your hearing, the other is random noise and high frequency. The other doesn't be linear. I found a relationship between the time, the zero time and the actual time. So I figured out a way to get that to work and try it out. So that's what I've been working on, and I think it's going to bear fruit. So I'll let you know that I'll find out.
We're working on tracking the moon and imaging the moon.
Oh, but they can see that moon or not.
Okay. Okay, good. Any other observing reports?
I saw the Orion meteor shower on October 21st. That was pretty cool. It was happening near the eastern horizon. I was at Sandbridge. A beautiful time of night, and only like about, let's say, 1/3 of the sky was actually a little bit light. Perfect opportunity to see amazing things.
Did you count them?
I was able to count 5, and the one I saw two separate times in which I saw 2 like streak across simultaneously together. So that was a very interesting.
Good, good.
How long were you out there for?
I was out there. I got there at exactly not 9:11 p.m. and I didn't leave until it got increasingly harder to see the night due to the incoming clouds, which was about 11:45.
Normally meteor showers peak after midnight, so you were lucky to see what you did, and we do have the Perseids coming up in December.
No.
I'm sorry, it's the Orion, the Leonids are coming up this month. The Leonids will peak on the 17th and 18th of this month, so we might want to consider meteor watch. Yes, sir.
Sorry I was late. I was checking up the telescope, do some Jupiter imaging tonight, since it's in a great location.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Jupiter's at the opposition.
Yes,
Yeah.
clear night. It's the closest and brightest and biggest magnitude you're gonna see in our lifetime.
That's
It
right,
starts going away.
right.
So
-3.
Jupiter is at its closest and its brightest. All right. Any other observing reports?
Ben was saying, it's like with Andromeda right now, it's just. Good times, midnight, it's up there, man, see it, man, beautiful. I've been doing some imaging of that, and this piece of stacking, Alpentron Nebula, 1396, Caspia, beautiful, beautiful nebula. So this is the time right now for that stuff.
You posting your pictures online?
When I'm ready, just, I kind of tweak them a little bit more. But yeah.
Okay, thanks, Eddie. Any other observing reports?
Yeah, I got some.
Okay,
Mainly not me. Is I'm starting my son young. So about 2 weeks ago, my 5-year-old got to be on Daddy's telescope the other day. So he is very excited about that. And so now he's going around telling everyone how he saw the wild duck cluster, but it doesn't look like a duck. And then he knows all the numbers. He was like, I saw 6818, which was like a planetary nebula at the IGC got. So yeah, but we saw Saturn and we saw a bunch of clusters, and he's always talking about it now. So now I'm telling him that we'll go back out tomorrow. But also because a few years ago I bought him a little 3-inch tabletop reflector. We take it out quite often, usually because you can take it out to see the moon, because a lot of times he's in bed before it's dark, which we can start taking it out again. But he's been learning now about the craters in the Mare, because I got the thing has a 600 millimeter focal length. I got him a 5.5. I picked a pretty good eyepiece that we could get decent power on. I was kind of surprised. You can see pretty good with that. eyepiece where you could really see craters and mare. So he loves looking at the moon. So every day he comes out and he wants to see the moon. Or if we're out at night, he's like, "Where's the W? Where's the teapots over there?" So I'm getting them hooked. I'm doing my part.
It'll be easier after daylight saving time ends.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, to get him out more, because like I said, he was at first I thought he'd be bored looking at the clock, because he kind of looks at it and goes, okay, then he wants to look at he wants to know, he's obsessed with numbers, so he's like looks at the controller to see what the number is. But he talked about, I saw 22. What globs do you see? I saw 2 and 22. What else did you see? Wild duck cluster, but it doesn't look like a duck. So a lot of people have heard how the wild duck cluster does not look like a duck from home.
Oh, thank you, Rich. That's exciting to get your little 5-year-old son involved. It's when we do outreach, sometimes I'll have a 6 or 7 or 8-year-old kid just rattle off stuff that you wouldn't believe that they know.
Yeah.
But it's good.
I thought you'd get bored after a little bit after seeing Saturn, but he kept going. I was like, "You done? You want to go back inside?" He's like, "More. I'm like, all right, look at more."
Oh, yeah. And Eddie's grandson, Riley, got started when he was 5.
Oh, yeah.
And what's he now? 9?
He's 9 now.
9 years old. And my granddaughter, Samantha, got started when she was in the 6th grade. And she got so good at it, I gave her a little telescope, a 4.5-inch telescope. Within 2 years, she outgrew that thing. So I gave her this 8-inch telescope. And I took back the 4.5-inch. And a year later, I gave it to another granddaughter, Chloe, who is interested in astronomy too. So it's wonderful to get your kids involved.
You know, a lot of times the kids get you involved too.
That's true.
What got me involved was Riley. And that old beat up Celestron, I forget what it was coming in. It was like busted dog. Like, Grandpa, I want to see the moon. I said, "No, buddy, it's busted up." That Christmas came along. I'm gonna give you a little, put it on my desk and on my deck, and seeing the craters on the moon, turn it to sand. Like you said, Saturn. The rains hit me, and that was it, man. I was hooked.
Yeah.
And from that point on, you know, and he's so interested in it.
Well, my granddaughter Samantha is in her second year of college, 3rd year of college. So she couldn't take the dog with her to college. It wouldn't fit in her room. So she lets me use it. It stays at my house. But I did get her, I bought her an 80mm refractor in a tripod, so she could take that with her to college at Lynchburg, where it's a little darker than here. Okay. Get that name? Okay.
One more. Jeff and I, and there was a couple other members that were up at Churchland Elementary for their like spectacular fest. And that's why when George told me, you gotta encourage you to come volunteer, there were so many kids and parents. That was the first time looking through a telescope, and they were all excited. Probably heard it 20 times, the ooh and ahs looking at Saturn and the moon. So I encourage you to volunteer, because you never know who's going to be interested, who's going to be in the next.
I'm gonna get in.
Okay.
But no, I understand that. I only came in to ask the question on how I get in. The door over there? Oh. Oh, I was just there and it didn't open, so I was. Yeah.
He's outside like I was.
Oh, yeah,
And he's on Zoom.
Try at a bar.
just push the door open.
No, it won't. She's gotta open it up from the inside. It's locked.
Oh, they locked it?
They,
Because I came in that way and I pushed it open.
you push the front, the main door open?
Yeah.
The back door.
Oh, the back door. Not
The
the
back
front
door.
door.
She
Oh.
takes more breaks
Well,
than
Well, it
Yeah,
sounds
I was
like
knocking on the door.
It sounds like he was just let in.
she's doing nothing but taking breaks.
I tried to pry it.
Apologies, I didn't realize I wasn't on mute.
Ah, that's okay. We love you.
Yeah, well, it gave us an idea of what's going on down there, Brian. Okay. Any other observing reports? If not, we'll go into our, before we do that, I see a bunch of faces that I don't
People, yeah.
recognize. So let's go around the room, just give your name and maybe one brief sentence about what you like about astronomy. I'm George Reynolds, I'm the president, and I've been in the club for 23 years. Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff Goldstein. I'm vice president and been here since 2008, on and off. And I was a TCC guy, but now I'm retired.
Ben Loyola on the scholarship committee that we give away a couple $1,000 worth of scholarships, which is a great amount for our small club. Love astronomy. I've been here almost as long as George has, almost.
Clayton Allen Prather, Sonar Tech Navy sailor. I got into astronomy purely because of the fact I'm curious. Like, I'm really curious. That's pretty much about it. I don't have anything else besides that. I'm just curious.
Okay. Sean.
I'm Sean, and I've been in the club for about 10 years now, but if you have any questions, Sean and Baby Ashland, and I'll answer.
Okay.
Well, Bowers, I've been in with the club off and on for the last 8 or 10 years. Not lately, I've had back problems and hip problems. Hard to get around. I'm trying to get back together.
I'm Eddie Paris. I'm the club secretary. Been with the club for about 3 years now. And I got into it because of my grandson Riley, and of course I'm gonna share with the family and friends and your grandkids.
That's right.
I can't see that.
In the orange.
Oh, that was Stallings. I don't know anything.
It's a very scientific thing. Jeremy Mitchell, I know very little, and astronomy is great. It's the oldest stuff you can see.
That's true.
I'm Jeff Runyon, and this is the first time I've come to a meeting, but I'm just curious if I've seen stuff.
Wonderful.
Anna Colway, I'm a preschool teacher, so I enjoy taking the things that I learned about back to my students.
Back.
Hi, Mark Millett. I'm the first time I've been to a meeting and been interested in astronomy since I used to help my neighbor who was an astronomy professor in college with setting up telescopes and stuff when I was a kid.
Good.
I'm coming into all this as well. So.
I'm Michael Ragsdale. I'd like to thank all of you for coming to Kensville Rec Center. Please come back. I was talked into coming to this meeting by a guy who shares interest in model rockets, C++, and astronomy.
You said rockets.
Rocket
Big
Man.
one, big one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go over here on the front.
Give somebody.
Wait, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Everybody was saying- Go ahead, sorry.
Tommy Vision, the Victim Navy, I'm a TTC student, but I'm not a teacher. Just from.
Good.
Oh, Jim Sorensen, retired Navy. Came and started messing around with this stuff last year at when the club was barely a year ago.
Good.
My name is James Green. I'm a new member. I'm a science major, and I like anything that's science. I guess what got me hooked, I used to get newspapers early in the morning and look up in the skies. Wow. So I've gone to a couple of planetary, going to a couple of those, and also I've been in a couple of new events down in Chesapeake at George Reynolds. Son has been a couple of those. So,
You came to Skywatch at least once.
yeah, I've been down in the northwest part.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah, see, you already knows my name, but and apparently I don't know how to get into this building. But,
Neither do I.
my apologies for that. I did not know I wasn't on mute.
You're fine, you're fine.
But Brian Morgan, like, retired Navy. I've always been interested in anything sciencey, and I've always loved astronomy. My brother called it astronomy, but he actually has he went. I was at the flying telescope helping work out last night, and you were going through all the stuff, and I've been at the bought a cheap telescope. That was me. Like, oh yeah, that's a lot of plastic. Hey, cool. And then I ended up something a little bit better. My brother, on the other hand, did the other thing that you say not to do, which is buy the most expensive telescope you can get with all the bells and whistles, and he's got filter wheels and all that kind of crap. So he and I have been kind of like back and forth, just like, hey, this is what I've learned. This is what I've learned. So that's kind of what's got me in this, and I kind of, I mean, I must admit, there's a big competitive streak in me, and I want to learn more faster. So, you know, I had suggested to him some time ago to, like, well, figure out how to work that damn thing. Go talk to, you know, your local astronomy club, and I looked it up for him and not for me. Then I did and figured I should join. So, sorry.
Kevin, I'm really interested in astronomy and physics. You're a teacher here. I'm a teacher. Physics is amazing.
Physics is fun.
Hi, Leah Flax. I also teach here, so I teach the astronomy classes here, and we both teach physics as well. And the thing I'm most excited about is the James Webb Space Telescope. I've been waiting for it for 20 years. I watched it being built, a lot of it being built in person, and it's changing the way that we teach classes already. So that's the thing that I'm most excited about.
David Schuldeis. I'm new to this area. I've been here about a couple of years, but I'm from the Denver Astronomy Club, where I was a member for 30 years. I upgraded did the star 1894 20. Also, it's in Denver. Good program.
We went from dark skies to what we have.
Built and designed.
I'm Mike Russo. I'm originally from New York. I'm from I've been a member for about 2 years now. And I've been into astronomy since, I don't know what year it was. Been a shoemaker 11/9 on Jupiter in the early 90s. That's what got me about it.
Andy McKay. I don't even run a telescope. I from a photography background, so I'm approaching this from a imaging standpoint. So trying to figure that out.
My name is Kurt. I joined earlier this year. Been trying to get to as many meetings as I could. So been interested in astronomy my whole life. Used to observe a lot when I was young, and like a lot of people got away from it. So I'm trying to get back in. Bill Russ. I've always been interested in astronomy, and I think I mentioned once that I love the first telescope. But I hold 3 degrees in engineering, life science, and so when I run out of stuff to look at in the sky, which is or deep sky, I work on theory, and I work on a couple of papers on how to align it. That's just a few moments ago, trying to build a lily and work on it some more. So I enjoy it, but I'm going to start for it and what maybe buy. So, at any rate, I enjoy it, I have fun, and so I'm glad I'm here. I think I joined the club back in the 80s.
Originally, there was a Norfolk Astronomical Society, and the BBAA split off from that in 1978. And so we've been to BBAA since then.
Started when I was busy, I retired in organizations.
Okay, well, thank you. We have a crash course on how to buy a telescope, because this is the Christmas season coming up, and people like to buy a telescope sometimes. And so, Brian, would you pass out one of each to everybody? Or if you already have a telescope and you don't care, you don't have to accept one of these. Eddie, would you pass the rest of these out? One to each person. I think we got enough, but if not, give it to the people that look strange. They look new. No. You don't pass the folders out. You pass out the contents of the folders.
Okay.
Oh, this is quite older.
Look at your.
Not much.
We don't need those. Yeah.
No, you already gave like, you already gave it to the.
Yes.
Don't need it.
Oh,
Big round.
one brick there.
You ever talk to the internet, like a normal satellite?
I like that scale missiles.
Is it different?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is named out.
Oh, okay. Launch out, I got you.
Yeah.
Launch out.
Yeah.
That was painful.
Benefits of the down risk, North Carolina.
What is it there?
No, it's a farm.
Farm still.
I really have to go to a shooting range.
It's got light speed. Yeah, liquid station on it now. You know what that is?
I know, because I went out and I go to the shooting range because they had their bid used. The question that the. We were. Automated fire.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. People are still learning.
And so. It's not great. You can say the every day is so creative. You're only creative while you do it.
Yeah.
No, we're out there.
Yeah, we would love for you to come back.
Oh, I'm getting. I look back.
It goes from the Google and this one. And it's better. It's fantastic.
Does everybody have a handful of handouts?
I'm all strong. Well, because some people didn't need to wear it on your finger, like in their bathroom or something like that. But you don't need to do all that. I basically. TV, you have one of those beer.
Yeah.
It's a raspberry.
Really big.
Yeah, I got three things I'm going to be given in terms of comment, like telescope and.
Raspberry Pi 4.
Was there anything else? Yeah, I got the.
I made it.
But the program itself, it's open source.
Yeah.
I made it for the.
I don't have it.
Got that?
I don't know how to.
And then you have a monitor.
Okay.
You can plug it into that.
Okay.
Jeff?
Already.
Yeah, it's the same thing you do. Jeff, bye.
Okay. In my kitchen piece, you always show me that. So it's showing me what the sun, like it's pulling SDO imagery down. As it's taking. So you can see what the sun looks like.
Okay, come here again, Chris. Have that Chinese fire drill and passing out papers. Now, each of you should have a handful of handouts. Have one.
That's all.
Sure. You don't need them. You know how to buy a telescope. You don't even need to buy a telescope. Okay, I'm gonna start out with, now, this is gonna be, like I said, a crash course. I'm not gonna read everything because I know that you can all read. I will just hit the highlights on these handouts and you can take them home and read them. And I've got some demonstration scopes here, what to buy and what not to buy. So let's start out with one of the three pictures at the top, buying a telescope as a gift. Those three pictures are actually they're all three Orion telescopes, but you don't have to buy an Orion telescope. It's just the three examples: a Newtonian reflector on an EQ mount, an equatorial mount, a Dobsonian reflector like we've got here, and a refractor on a tripod like this one here. And we always say, when you're looking for a telescope, don't buy a department store telescope. Look at the quality. You don't have if you have a question, ask somebody who knows, like come to a club meeting or come to an astronomy person, ask. I have highlighted here on paragraph 4, the telescope is a serious scientific tool. It is suspicious, but it looks too cheap where the price is so low. The telescope's giving you good value, but they're not cheap, but not really dirt cheap. Avoid the dirt cheap plasticky telescopes, like I have here. And the prices of these telescopes are listed on the back, in a paragraph at the back. These are the current prices in the Orion website, and a couple of them are on sale. Now, I would say to people who are interested in astronomy, don't buy a telescope, get a pair of binoculars. These are 12 by 42 binoculars. These are 8 by 42 binoculars. The way, if you got a handout on binocular buying, the way you determine the size or the power of binocular, that's the first number. First number is the power of the binocular. So you have 7 by 35, which magnifies 7 times. The X means magnification, like the times symbol in algebra. 7 by 35, 7 by 50s, 10 by 50s. The second number is the diameter of the eyepiece or the ocular lens, the front lens of the binoculars. So 7 by 50s and 10 by 50s are good for astronomy. These are 8 by 42, which means they magnify 8 times and have 42 millimeter diameter. These are 12 by 42, so you magnify 12 times and have 42 millimeter ocular lens. These are Orion's Ultra View. I don't know if they even have these anymore, but when I bought these 15, 20 years ago, I did a lot of research and went to a website this guy had analyzed and evaluated. Oh, must have been 3 dozen different binoculars. He said the best ones were the Fujinon 8 by 42s, $1,500. He said the Orion 8 by 42s are 90% as good as the Fuji's at 10% of the price. They were $150, and I got them on sale. So, but you can get a decent pair of binoculars at Harbor Freight or Walmart for $35, $40, $45. So
gyro stabilized.
A cheap pair of binoculars is better than a cheap telescope any day of the week. Now, someday I would like to get image stabilized binoculars, which are in the 300 to up range. because the older I get, the shakier I get. We always say go to a respected brand such as Celestron, Mead, Skywatcher, Orion. Now, be careful though, that even Celestron and Mead make cheap junk. For instance, well, this is probably a decent telescope, but the tripod is so wiggly, it's hard to use. But you can get a good telescope from Orion Telescope and Binocular Company for reasonable price, and they get good service. Check the reviews. May help if you have a friend who's into astronomy, and of course, you always join the club or come to the club activities. The next one is the telescope buying guide. Got 3 considerations before buying a telescope: size, price, and ease of use. Price. I'll start with price. You don't want to buy something that's too expensive. You might not be able to afford it. Or if you get something that's really expensive, you might be afraid to take it out for fear you can get it damaged. So price is a consideration. Size is another consideration. What size telescope are you able to handle? What is it that you're looking for to do? This is a nice size telescope, but some people might not be able to handle it. Together, it weighs probably 45, 50 pounds. It comes apart in 2 pieces, but still the base is heavy and the tube is fairly heavy. This, on the other hand, I call my grab and go scope. It fits in the Craftsman toolbox, and I take it everywhere I go. Ease of use is another important thing. I always recommend this type of mount called an azimuth mount. It's up and down in altitude and side to side in azimuth. That's a good way to start out. The other type of mount is an equatorial mount or an EQ mount, which are a little more learning curve, a little harder to learn how to use. I don't recommend this for a beginner, but if you're a techno person, you might be able to start out with an EQ mount. But if you get one, make sure it's got a good sturdy tripod. Look at the difference between these tripods. This is an old Pasco.
Oh my gosh.
It's gonna fall over.
Showing your age now, George.
There it goes. There it goes. There. Don't like that kind of tripod. This one is a little bit better. Put this thing, this is a brace here. It also holds the eyepieces. I didn't set it up tonight because it's temporary, but that will keep it a little more sturdy. This is a fairly decent tripod, although it's still a little bit wiggly. This is a good solid tripod. We'll get to that in a minute. This is a camera tripod, and it's pretty good. And this is a Bogan or Manfrotto tripod. It's solid as a rock. Next, getting started in astronomy, just a couple things. Lesson 2, it says, again, I say don't buy a department store telescope. People ask us, what is the best telescope to buy? There's no right answer. The best telescope is going to be the one that you're going to use. If it's too big and bulky, you're not going to use it. If it's too cheap and flaky and rickety, it's going to sit in the closet or under the bed. So the best telescope is the one that you're able to use. Yes, Bill.
Just interject one thing. I think the important thing to own is a telescope. The second most important is a case. I was making a trip to Arizona to load my telescope with a 14-inch SCP in the back of my truck. And because the heart was strike rate, and I turned my back to more comfortable in there, and it fell out. Boom, boom, boom. Oof, ouch. I had a nice case, opened it up, crying all the time. It was an open case, it was in perfect condition.
Good.
Well, I recommend that too.
Good idea. Get a good case.
Halloween's over, Bill. You have all those horror stories.
Big money investment. I didn't make nothing.
Going back to what to buy, don't go in for all the bells and whistles. You see the telescopes advertised with all kinds of snazzy doodads on it. It's going to jack up the price. And also, you don't need to buy a whole case of eyepieces. But at the bottom here says, how many eyepieces do I need? 2 or 3 at the most, and a Barlow lens, a 2x Barlow, magnifies 2 times. Will double the number of lenses you have, basically, because if you have a medium lens and a high power lens, the Barlow will make that even better. If you say I've got a 25 millimeter eyepiece, which in this scope will magnify about 8 times. 8 times? 400 divided by 25, no, 16 times. 16. So 25 millimeter here would magnify 16 times. Put a Barlow, a 2x Barlow, it'll give me 32 power. Put a 10-inch or 10 millimeter eyepiece in this, will give me 40 power. Put a 2x Barlow, give me 80 power.
So, Barlow, is that a brand name?
No, Barlow is a type of lens that you can buy from Orion or any of the telescope places. It's just the Barlow lens goes in between your eyepiece and your focuser. I don't have a Barlow with me tonight. You can put the Barlow in here with the lens in the Barlow, and then you have twice as much magnification power. I'll get to magnification in a minute. But that's why, oh, and there's also, they make a 3x Barlow. I don't recommend those. They're mostly too much power, too much magnification. The more you magnify something, the harder it is to get in focus. It gets fuzzy. And also, if you don't have a motorized mount, it magnifies the speed of the item across your field of view. So it's harder to keep track of it. Just make sure you're getting a Barlow lens or a telenegative lens. You got need to have a Barlow lens with a negative. Put a haze, like a filter inside the Barlow. Yeah, the rest of this, you can read. This is for getting started in astronomy. I will mention on page 3 the references with books. 2 books that I started out with were Night Watch and Turn Left at Orion. Got those at the library when I first started out in astronomy. Checked them out, renewed them, so I couldn't renew them anymore. So I took them back, and then I had to buy them. I bought Turn Left at Orion, and then my wife surprised me for Christmas, bought me Night Watch. But the other books are Starware by Phil Harrington, Astronomy Hacks, the Rask Handbook, the Royal Astronomy Society of Canada. If you like looking at the moon, a great reference is Observing the Moon through Binoculars and Small Telescopes by Ernest Sherrington Jr. And of course, star charts. My 2 favorite star charts are Sky and Telescope's Pocket Sky Atlas, Jumbo Edition. This is for big pocket. And Objects in the Heavens by Peter Beeren. And this one has regulation star charts, and the Jumbo Edition has bigger star charts than the original edition, but they're the same charts. Objects in the Heavens has sketches of the constellations. But the thing I like the most about it is it's got a list on the other side, on the opposite page, of what to look for. It describes the objects, tells where it is in the sketch, and in the front of the book, it's like a primer in learning how to get started in astronomy. It's got a lot of basic stuff, as well as objects on the moon every day of the month. There's pictures of the moon every day of the month. Okay. So that's that. I'm sorry, what was that book called again? That second book? The second one, Objects in the Heavens. And you can't get this on Amazon. They may advertise it on Amazon, but if they have it, it's the old edition, like version 2. It's up to version 6.2 now. And you go to just Google Objects in the Heavens. It'll come up with his website, beerendesign.com, and you can buy this for about $25 or $30. It's very well worth it. Also,
what was that book again about the moon? You say every day the moon?
Yeah, Observing the Moon. It's on that 3rd page there. Observing the Moon with Binoculars and Small Telescopes, Charrington. Okay, the next one is types of telescopes. So I'll just briefly mention that. This mentions two basic types of telescopes, refractor and a reflector. This is a refractor. These three are refractors. The way that works is it's got a lens in the front and a lens in the back, and the light comes in and you just look through it. The objective lens focuses the light to here, and some of these have a star diagonal, which shines out vertically, so you don't have to get down and look straight through the telescope. This is a finder scope on this particular telescope. This is a finder scope. This is a finder scope. Finder scope is straight refractor. Got a lens here and a lens here, and you look through that and you can see the object in the crosshairs. That's the first type of telescope, is a refractor. Second type of telescope is a reflector. This is a reflector. Means it's got a mirror in the bottom. The light comes in the open end. The open end of the telescope. There's a curved mirror, parabolic mirror. It focuses the light to a point about here inside the tube. Then there's a mirror on a bracket called a spider, and an angled mirror, diagonal mirror, shines the light out to the side so that you can look through the eyepiece and you don't have to, I don't know how you do it if you didn't have that. But this is a refractor on top of a reflector. Finder scope. They also make red dot finders and other kinds of finder scopes. The third type of telescope is a combination of reflector and refractor. Basically, the two types are the Schmidt-Cassegrain and the Maxitoff-Cassegrain. This is a Maxitoff-Cassegrain. And the way this works, it's got a lens on the front that's called a corrector plate. And the corrector plate is an illuminized dot in the center of it. So the light comes in, and it's got a curved mirror in the back here, and the curved mirror in the back has a hole in it, in the middle. So the light comes in, reflects off that curved mirror, is focused to this illuminized dot, which is a mirror on the inside of the corrector plate, and then shines the light back through the hole in the mirror in the back. The advantage of Cassegrain telescope like this, or Schmidt-Cassegrain, which is similar, is it's got a long focal length. Focal length means you can get more magnification and see dimmer objects. This happens to have a focal length of 400 millimeters. This big Dobsonian reflector, if you don't know what a Dob is, John Dobson is the guy who came up with this type of mount, sort of like a mortar or an artillery piece. It revolutionized the amateur astronomy field by making telescopes like this much more affordable. They were all equatorial mounts or expensive mounts before. But this was called a Dobsonian mount. We'll call it a Dobsonian reflector or a Dob. So this Dobsonian reflector has a focal length of 1,200 millimeters from the mirror to the mirror up here, and the light coming out from the eyepiece. 1,200 millimeters. This is the shorter telescope. It's got a longer focal length than that. This has a focal length of 1,250 millimeters. Now, how could that be? Well, it depends on the path of the light. So the light comes in, reflects off the mirror, bounces back to this mirror, reflects back through the hole, and you look through the eyepiece. So the focal length of this telescope is 3 times the length of the tube. So that's one advantage to a Cassegrain telescope, a MAC or a SCT, Maxitoff-Cassegrain or Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope. They are a compact size and a lot of magnification power, a lot of versatility. The best bang for your buck, however, is the Dob. It'd be the cheapest, but you get the largest aperture for the lowest price. And the price of that 6-inch in the picture there, it's about $479 or $439 or something like that. It's almost double what it was just a few years ago, thanks to inflation. But still, it's not a bad deal. Then again, there is the unistellar telescope. No eyepiece. You hook it up to what? Your phone?
Your iPhone or
Your iPhone or your Android phone, and it's got a motor, and you just tell it what you want to see, and it finds it, and it images, takes multiple images over a period of time, and those images show up on your phone or on your computer. And this only costs about $2,500. I couldn't afford it, but school bought one, and let's see, this is TCC. ODU bought one. ODU has one of these. Excellent buy, excellent scope. But this, you're into amateur astronomy, something like this, or something like this. Excuse me. This you buy at Orion, it used to be about $200. You look on that sheet, starts down to $139 with a backpack. Of course, I don't think the tripod is quite as sturdy as this, but still it's a decent tripod. Okay. Very briefly, advice on buying a telescope for a child. Don't go by price or the height on the box. The one at the bottom, doesn't matter what the brand is, Polaroid or Pasco or whatever, it'll be an off brand. You say magnifies 175, 252, 525 power. That's a bunch of garbage. Maximum usable power, especially around here in our light polluted skies, is 150. If you get out to a dark sky area with a good sized telescope, you might get up to 200, 250. On a beautiful clear night, you might even get up to 300 or 400. But the average 100, 150 is good. So you can read this and decide what to buy or decide what considerations for a child. Now, let me tell you what not to buy. Well, no, I'll get to that in a minute. Number 5 is more newbie advice. I highly recommend, well, I do admire the tenacity of a person who does have a telescope like one of these. You may try to use it. Some people actually are able to use it. I had a couple come to one of our events several years ago. We were looking at the moon behind the Use library out there. And they wanted to help up with their little 60 millimeter telescope on a very, very wobbly tripod and a very loose mount. They asked for help, and I tried to get it on the moon. I couldn't get it on the moon, and I've been doing this for years. It was so bad. I just recommended that they get a new telescope. So it's misery. I'll also suggest joining an astronomy club or finding an astronomy club and attending some of the meetings and some of the observing events, because you'll learn a lot. Because here in this room, there's hundreds of years of experience from the members. So you can learn a lot just by rubbing shoulders with some of these guys who've been doing it for a long time. Of course, a lot of good books. I mentioned again, Night Watch, Turn Left at Orion. Another one's called The Backyard Astronomer's Guide by Terrence Dickinson. The Backyard Astronomer's Guide, TBAG. I call it T-BAG. Good star charts. I mentioned star charts. Good thing to have also. One of the tools on an astronomer is a planisphere. This is a big one for good laws, and it's getting old because it's falling apart, getting all cracked up. And you can put a pin in the middle because it came apart. But this will help you by dialing in the date and time that you're looking up in the sky. This will tell you what constellations and stars are up in the sky at that particular time. Let's look at how to buy binoculars. I'm not going to go over this. I mentioned binoculars and their ratings and how you can tell what the power is. This gives you a lot more information about binoculars, so you can take this home and read it yourself. Although next to the last is avoiding the trash scope trap. These things we call trash goers or hobby killers. The one thing I showed you how rickety this one is. It's a challenge, you can get it to hold steady, let alone aim. What you want to look for is plastic, got plastic, finder scope, very, very rickety finder scope, very rickety, tripod, plastic star diagonal, plastic eyepieces. This is the same telescope on a little bit better tripod. This is a little bit sturdier, but still, it's not sturdy. One advantage to this one, it says, let's see. Somewhere down there, it's got something about, but this thing. This thing is something you can do to help. Yeah, help with your small adjustments, although this is very flimsy. So this we don't recommend. This one is a little bit better, a little bit more sturdy, but not as much. Still a little bit rickety. It's got one of these things. And what you can do is once you've got your object, this is plastic. I would recommend these. These finder scopes are very hard to use. Like this. But when you've got your object and you want to turn this telescope a little bit, so you can turn this little knob here, that helps raise or lower the telescope. But those are the kind you don't want to get. I highly recommend this one, which is a short tube 80 refractor, which I have had for 20 years maybe, and it's like a grab and go scope. It fits in this Craftsman toolbox, and I take it wherever I go for outreach. So watch out for plastic lenses, inferior coatings on the lenses. Lenses are coated to reduce refraction, glare, improve image, and so inferior coatings or no coatings at all will be, you don't want that. Plastic draw tube, I mentioned the plastic draw tube, plastic components. That means that this is plastic, this is plastic, this is, you know, a bunch of cheap stuff on it. Whereas this is metal, this is metal, this is metal, this is metal, good solid metal parts. Flimsy, shaky, thinly jittery mounts and tripods. I've already demonstrated that. Small aperture refractors, which is what these are, or Newtonians, with focal length sufficiently long, that's a long focal length, makes the optical tube considerably longer than it is wide. What's the problem here? Such scopes lack, this is what I was looking for. Such scopes often lack an altitude adjustment locking bar. Now this one has one, but it's very flimsy. I have to repair that. This one doesn't have one at all. So that altitude adjustment bar helps. Again, you could read this and get more information. Avoid telescopes or binoculars priced way too low, under $100 for scopes or $60 for binoculars. Now I have an exception to that. I said you can get a decent pair of binoculars for $35 or $40. At least that's, I haven't priced binoculars lately, but
the Harbor Freight ones are $20.
Harbor Freight, okay, and they're decent.
They are.
They are decent. So, but telescope, I'd go with that price. And watch out for those flashy, garish blurbs marked on the boxes that claim to be able to see things 500 power or 750 power. Forget it, that doesn't work. And a 3x Barlow is pretty useless, but a 2x Barlow is a good option to get. Okay, almost 9 o'clock. The last item is the evening sky map. I highly recommend a place called skymaps.com. You can go to skymaps.com, which is on here, website, somewhere on here, somewhere on the bottom probably. You can download each month a map or a star chart for that month. Now, you can't get December until the 1st of December. but you'll have not only this map or this chart of what stars and constellations are up in the sky that month, but also in the left column shows some things to look for. For instance, Jupiter is at opposition, which means that it's brightest because the sun is here, the earth is here, and Jupiter is here. It's at opposition, it's opposite the sun. The moon will be near the Beehive cluster, M44, which is a cluster, an open cluster of stars. It looks like a swarm of bees in the constellation Cancer. Cancer. On the 14th, the moon will be near Mercury. 14th, the moon will be near Mercury and Antares. Antares is the brightest star in the constellation Scorpius, the Scorpion. On the 18th, the Leonid meteor shower peaks. On 20th, the moon will be near Saturn. On 25th, the moon will be near Jupiter. 27th, the moon will be near the Pleiades, which is another open star cluster at the constellation Taurus, the Bull. And on the back, got some good information, tips, a glossary, and items that you can see naked eye, with binoculars, and with telescopes. So you can go to the evening sky map, that's skymaps.com, download it free, print it out. I print it out double-sided, so it's easy to use. That is your crash course on telescopes. Any question? David?
A couple things you should mention. One is collimation, and the other is complexity of these computers that a lot of.
Okay, good point. I'll start with the computers. A lot of scopes nowadays come with a type of mount called a go-to mount, and they've got computer-driven motors. Some of them are easy to use, some are hard to use. So it takes some technical expertise, takes some actual learning, the learning curve for each one of those telescopes. So I suggest you learn how to use a telescope in the daytime, how to fiddle with it before you take it out at night and get frustrated because it won't work.
Check it out and make sure it's easy to use, because I've dealt with people coming in with telescopes, computers, and all people in our club can't figure it out.
Right, right. Ease
So
of use.
make sure they're using them.
Yeah. The other thing is collimation. Now, collimation is not a big deal with a refractor, but with a reflecting telescope, collimation is just getting all of the IP or all of the optical elements in line so you get the best view. And there's different ways of collimation. You can put a laser collimator in here, or you can use what's called a
Back-off mask.
yeah, you can use a mask. There's another one.
Cheshire.
Yeah, Cheshire. We've got a little hole in it. What you do is do this in the daytime, or you can use it aimed at a light or something. But you do it in the daytime and tweak it. There's 3 knobs on the bottom here. You can align it so that you get the best collimation. You can go to website for collimation or books tell you how to do it.
There's Barlow collimators, which are excellent.
Yeah. And then you can do a star collimation. If you get it into rough collimation, look at a star and defocus the focuser, both directions, get the star in focus, then go one way, and then go back the other way. If the star maintains a circle, then you're in good collimation. If it goes sort of screwy, looks sort of like an oval or something, then you need to do some collimation. You need to do some adjustment. And it's trial and error. It helps to have a person turning the knobs while somebody else is looking through the eyepiece, but you can do it by yourself. A laser collimator works by taking the eyepiece out, putting the laser in here, and laser collimators have a little reflecting surface so that you can be down here adjusting the knobs and you can see the little red dot. Good point. Any other questions?
Safety point.
Yes.
If so many people are interested in getting telescopes, never, ever, ever, ever use any provided filter, moon filter, whatever, to try to look at the sun, even in the small guide scope, because faster you can blink your eye, you will go blind.
That's right.
And back in the old days, those trash telescopes used to come with welder glass filters, and they would heat up and crack, and kids would go blind, people would go blind. So big caveat. So, always adult supervision with children. That's the one thing in astronomy and this hobby, is that you could blind somebody, God forbid, if you're by the sun, or Venus near the sun, or Mercury near the sun.
Be very careful.
Very careful.
Anytime you use a filter to look at the sun, it's got to cover the whole aperture, not just the eyepiece. This is a solar filter, and it looks like a mirror, doesn't it? Because it reflects 99.9% of the sun's rays. We transmit only a fraction, maybe 1/10% or less. So it makes it safe to look at the sun through the eyepiece. When I'm setting up on Saturday, Sunday, I have what's called a sun funnel. It's an oil funnel with an eyepiece in it and some rear projection material across the front. Projects the image of the sun, which makes it safe. But I first of all, align the finder at a terrestrial object, then I put the cap on the finder scope to avoid any possible, because kids come up, they'll want to look through the finder. Well, danger. So I've got a cap on there. I've got the sun funnel in here, or the filter on the front. Good question. Good point. Safety first.
One thing from experience, pay attention to your finder scope, because they do heat up, and I caught one on fire.
You didn't get put a cap on it?
But it happened, like you said, that quick, where
Yeah.
I was going from here to about where you're at, and then got about halfway back, and I'm like, why is there
Smoking coming out of your fire? Oh my gosh.
That quick.
Oh, yeah, no. Serious.
Didn't Kent Blackwell catch a tree on fire with
bouncing off his 25.
his 25-inch mirror? Yeah. Yes, sir. Bill.
We were at it a couple of years ago, we had one of the sun things out at the library. And it was kind of windy day, and we had all the stuff set up. I was standing with the telescope. We had some literature that was stacked up, and people had started making music. I weighed it down so it wouldn't blow all over creation. And we had a young man, I guess he was 16 or something, doing that. He was autistic, to say the least. And he'd go down and look at my scope in the middle of the round. I gotta leave him. At any rate, he was over at the table, and I glanced over at him. He's got an eyepiece looking around for the sun.
Oh, jeez.
So
I'll do it too.
I put it down, and he got about
One time before I had a solar filter, and before I had the sun funnel, this is when I first started in astronomy, maybe 20-some years ago. We used to set up at the Central Library, Virginia Beach, so for the sun, and I used the projection method. I used the telescope aiming at a white piece of cardboard, and so if you can do that, it's projecting the image on the cardboard. But I had a little boy started to look through the eyepiece. I said, grab them quick. That is dangerous. You don't want to do that. So yeah, good point. Any other questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Just when you do your outreach events, what types of scopes do the club members bring?
All kinds. I always bring this. This I call my grab and go scope. I have a zoom eyepiece in it, which makes it easy to see the moon, star clusters. The planets look sort of small, but I can zoom it in and make them a little bit bigger. But it's a handy thing to have. But we'll have 8-inch Dobbs, 10-inch Dobbs. Some guys have bigger telescopes. Some have big refractors. Jeff brings his refractor on a equatorial mount.
Right.
I think you've got a Schmidt-Cassegrain too, don't you?
Right.
So we've got all kinds, and The club even owns a Schmidt-Cassegrain ring. Multiple.
And a
So-
solar telescope. And a solar telescope.
Yes, the club has a
Solar
solar telescope called a PST, a personal solar telescope, which you can, this one, with this type of filter, you can see sunspots. But you can't see solar flares. You have to have a hydrogen alpha filter or a special telescope, the PST, a personal solar telescope that's made to look at the sun, and it'll filter out all but the hydrogen waves, the
Hydrogen alpha.
Hmm?
Hydrogen alpha.
hydrogen alpha, yeah, it's a hydrogen alpha filter. The hydrogen ions are reddish in color if you see a spectrum. And so the sun will look red, but you will be able to see flares and prominences coming off the edge of the sun, and texture, granulation, and waves on the surface of the sun with that kind of a filter. Yes, sir.
When I'm asked about telescopes, I always say, well, what do you like to look at? I mean, if you like to look at planets, you almost want tracking. And you don't need huge apertures. But if you want to look at dark skies, you're going to need more aperture, but you're going to need a lot more money and attention.
Good point. And this is good for aperture, 8-inch, 10-inch. I wouldn't get a 12-inch only because it would fit in my car. And a 12-inch, I mean, an 8-inch and a 10-inch scope have a 1200 millimeter or about a 4-foot tube. It'll fit right across the back seat of my car. 12-inch telescope would have to stick out the side. I wouldn't be able to close the door. Any other points? You need bigger car. No. Yes, sir.
I believe one of the handouts has recommendations for like sky map software, like Stellarium, that sort of thing.
Right.
Do you have any personal recommendations for which one you like best? I know there's plenty like on phones and everywhere.
Okay, I have on my computer at home, I've got Stellarium. Stellarium is great because you can dial in the date and time and see what the sky is going to look like. And I've used Stellarium when I'm even out in the backyard. I'll say, if I'm looking for a certain object and I'm not sure exactly where it is, I'll look on Stellarium and see how to triangle, how to jump from one star to another to find it, or what it looks like when I finally get it. The Stellarium is good. I highly recommend Stellarium. It's a free download. Go to stellarium.org, I think it is, and you can download it.
And they have a mobile version too.
They do have a mobile version. I do have the mobile version. It's not as robust as the computer version. It doesn't do as much. But speaking of phone software, I have on my phone Stellarium, Sky Safari, Star Walk 2, and now Bayport Banking came up. I don't want that. Skyview Free and Heavens Above. It's another good website, heavens-above.org. I think it's org or com. I think maybe it is .com. Heavens Above. You can also go to Heavens Above. There's many things you can get from Heavens Above. One of which is a star chart for not just that month, but you can tune it into the day and time that you're going to be looking. You'll have everything that you're going to be seeing. It also has the ISS and other satellites, the International Space Station, the Chinese Space Station, when to see it in the sky, when to see them in the sky, and it's got comets and other things. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just think, I'm sorry, just one of the things that I've noticed is kind of like Star Walk 2, like you said, if you have it on your phone or on your tablet, whatever, it also has the augmented reality option where you can look at the stars and then sort of line them up. So if you have a constellation look for you, go, okay, well that's what that is. And it'll have the overlay of the name stars and stuff too. But you have Astrospheric, or do you have any spirit?
Oh yes, I do have Astrospheric. Astrospheric is the sort of a way to track the weather, and what tells you what's up in the sky. Has a bortle map that shows the darkness darkness ratings for different places.
It's helpful what they do also on that. That's what they're. About the do.
The dew, yeah, dew points, right.
Yeah.
Another one is the clear sky chart. You can go to Google Clear Sky Chart, or you can go to the BBAA website and go to, I think it's miscellaneous, and you get weather forecasts. Click on weather forecast, get clear sky chart for the Tidewater area, for Virginia Beach, for Northwest River Park, and other places.
Good. People starting out, Sky Safari is a paid app and you gotta pay like $40 for the full version, I think.
I've got the free version.
But Celestron partnered with the people who make Sky Safari and you can buy or get Sky Portal for free. And it's, yeah, and it's good. It just doesn't have as many stars. So for starting out, I used it for 2 years. It's a good app.
All right. Okay, any other questions or comments? We're a little bit late. We usually break up at 9 o'clock, but I thank you for your discussion. And like I say, you can take this home and read it and decide if you haven't bought a telescope yet, what you can look for in a telescope.
Thank you.
Very good.
I got extra t-shirts if anybody wants a t-shirt. There's a.
I do this demonstration at least once a year. Last year or the year before, I did it on Zoom. And I did it last night at Kankville Rec Center. So
I was there, so the whole thing.
that's right. He got it twice. So meeting adjourned.
Oh, buddy. Image. Image. Hopefully things cool down. It's too early.